Alright, this is John Cole with okraw.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and in this episode I'm going to share with you guys my 5 reasons why juicing is an essential part of my raw foods diet. And I believe it should be also an essential part of yours for a higher and greater level of health. On the table right here you can see I have my juicer that I use pretty much almost every day, as well as a whole selection of juices. And this is just kind of like out of the fridge, you know. Usually I'll juice, and then I'll juice in the morning, and then I'll have juice throughout the day, and sometimes they'll make it to the next day, and then usually I drink the juice by the next day. I don't like to store juices too long. But I have a sampling of juices, you know. Over on this side, this is 100% cantaloupe juice, maybe with a little bit of cucumber in there. Next we have this one. This is not the kombucha, what's in there, I'm just reusing the bottle. But this is actually a pineapple jicama juice that's actually been carbonated, that I also put apple cider vinegar in, probiotics, and some matcha tea powder. And that's to simulate kombucha, because my girlfriend loves kombucha, so I was trying to like make a recipe that's like gonna fulfill her needs without having to buy a $3 kombucha all the time. So, you know, she really liked this a lot. She would probably take it without the matcha tea powder though. And then I got a sugarcane juice right here. I like to add this actually to different recipes. So like if I'm making like a dressing, like the standard miso tahini dressing, right? If I use a sugarcane juice in the miso tahini dressing with a little bit of garlic, it's just off the charts. It is so delicious. Over here, this is what I usually have upon waking up in the morning and generally right before going to bed. And this is my cucumber celery juice. Sometimes I'll add coconut water in there as well. So that's a nice mild, non-sweet juice to basically get me hydrated. And to me, it's important to stay hydrated, especially in the climate that I live in. And I would much rather drink juice I made fresh instead of even filtered water or bottled water that has been sitting in plastic. And finally, last, we got my juice. This is the leftover from yesterday. This is pineapple with lots of beets. So I'm really into beets these days. Also lots of purple carrots. I think I also got some celery in there as well. Oh, and ginger for some flavor. I think I put a few other things in there too, but nonetheless, this is basically a root juice with lots of different root vegetables that I might not normally eat. I don't just sit there and take a beet and crunch into it like you would an apple, right? And probably you guys don't either. But anyways, as you guys can see, I have a selection of juices, and in a general day, I might drink, you know, my standard juice in the morning. And then I like to have generally a vegetable juice during the day. I like to also have a fruit meal during the day. And then in the evening, I'll have a big salad meal. Sometimes I'll also, you know, sneak in a smoothie in there. But personally, I kind of like the juices because they go down a little bit smoother. They don't have all that fiber content. And also, I'm not a super huge fan of blending, although now I have the vacuum blending. So, you know, that changes the game a lot. And the juicer I use primarily is the Omega VSJ. That's the one that I use on my counter, although I have a selection of juicers I can select from. This is the one I like because it generally juices most things fairly well. It does really good at leafy greens, hard vegetables, root vegetables, other vegetables, as well as will juice fruit fairly well. Anyways, on with this video, let's get into my top 5 reasons why I believe juicing is essential. So reason number 1 why I believe juicing is essential is because it allows you to get a wider variety of especially the vegetables that you might not normally eat. I mean, here in my root juice, you know, I probably put about at least a half dozen, maybe a few more beets in there. And I'm not about to sit and eat a half dozen beets in a day. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it. Maybe you guys might like shred a beet up in a salad once in a while, but I really want to increase the amount of some of the different phytonutrients like the betalains that are in the beets. You know, there's a lot of new research with beets and cardiovascular health and athletic performance, and I don't want to lose out on those by not including the beets in my diet. And beets aren't one of my favorite foods, but when I juice them up and add some other things in there, they could taste amazing, and now I could get the benefits of beets. Another big reason also for juicing for me is and hopefully for you guys, is I want to encourage you guys to make predominantly vegetable juices. It's true, you know, hey, I make some fruit juices sometimes, but what I really want to focus on is the vegetables and dominate my juices with the vegetables. So basically I'm having a juice and I'm having a vegetable meal during the day instead of another extra fruit meal, right? Vegetables and fruits are the best foods on the planet, and you know, each of them have their pros and cons. I'm not going to lie about that, but I think that far too often in a raw foods diet, and even just a standard vegan diet or just a plant-based diet or any kind of diet for the most part, leafy greens are just really not consumed. They're kind of thought of as an afterthought. Oh yeah, I might have a, you know, romaine salad, lettuce at night, but otherwise you don't really eat a lot of leafy greens. So that's where really juicing comes in. You can literally take 1 pound of greens, condense it down into 1 cup of juice, put a few other things in there: celery, carrots, apples, cucumbers, some ginger for some flavor, and some other essential nutrients, and you're off and running, and it's going to be so delicious. Also, you could juice so many different other kinds of vegetables. Maybe you like to eat lettuce, but you don't like to eat kale, right? But if you juice the kale, now you're able to get some kale in you. Maybe it's that Swiss chard you really don't like to eat, but I'll tell you, I love to juice the Swiss chard stems that are out of my garden, because actually they make my juice nice and salty. They have a salty flavor, kind of like celery. They're really high in sodium too, which is quite good. But anyways, there's so many different kinds of greens, and fact of the matter is you probably don't like to eat some of them. I have a friend that doesn't like to eat dandelion greens, but hey, slip a few dandelion leaves into his juice, add some other things doctored up so you can't taste the dandelions, and now you got some dandelions in you, which, you know, I want to encourage you guys to eat a wide variety of foods. And I know a lot of you guys on your shopping list every week, you go to the store, you get bananas, oranges, romaine, and tomatoes, and some other things. But I want you guys to reach out and get some new foods that you don't normally eat, don't normally try, and incorporating them into your juices is one excellent way to get them into you if you're not used to those unique flavors and taste sensations. Reason number 2 I like juicing so much, and they're an essential part of my diet, hopefully your diet as well, is because they break open the fibrous cell walls, right? On fruits, that's not so important because the fruits don't have a lot of hard fibrous cell walls. Like compare a juicy orange that literally melts in your mouth, or a peach this time of year, compared to like a carrot. You can't put a carrot, you could suck on that carrot for like days and nothing's going to happen. It's going to sit there. You literally got to use your teeth, which actually are our best juicers in the world. The fact of the matter is, most people don't chew their food into a mush and use their teeth as effective juicers. They use them as ineffective juicers because they take 2 chews and swallow whole chunks of produce, and they're not going to get optimal digestion. But anyways, what the juicer does is literally it simulates part of our digestive process by breaking down the fiber, releasing all the nutrients in a slow rate. I only recommend using slow juicers at this point in time. And it releases the nutrients as well as the soluble fiber, and remove the insoluble fiber that we don't really digest anyways. And so now we could get the benefits of the juices, and it is easy to digest. I know a lot of people in this day and age, especially if you're getting up there in your years and have not been eating the totally best diet over the years, many people may have digestive challenges. And because we are removing the insoluble fiber, you know, people have a much easier time to digest those foods. And in addition, right, it's shown that the soluble fiber that is in the juice helps feed your gut microbiome, your gut flora, and allows them to proliferate, right? The juice right here has jicama juice in there. Jicama is rich in the prebiotics, the prebiotic fibers that are in the juices when you make them, so they will feed your beneficial bacteria, which are actually really important, you know, based on new emerging research that's coming out. So yeah, break it open. The fiber cell wall is super critical, super important. And the juices are digested faster than most other things you would be eating, because they are already in a liquid state that the villi in our intestines can directly absorb the nutrition from. Reason number 3 why juicing is essential in my raw foods diet, and should be in yours also, is because juices provide the best water on earth. Everybody always asks me, John, what's the best water? Should I get distilled water, reverse osmosis water, fresh spring water, filter my tap water? There's all these different kinds of waters, but the fact of the matter is, you know, number 1, we need to stay hydrated. We need to have the proper water percentage within us, and if we don't, many disease situations can occur because simply we're dehydrated and we need a minimum requirement of water in us. Unfortunately, most people are walking around dehydrated because that's one of the things that most cooked foods do to you, is that they will dehydrate you, because when you cook foods, unless it's like steaming or boiling or maybe sous vide, they're pulling the water out. You know, if you're cooking in the oven, in a toaster, that's removing all the water content. And yes, dehydrated foods will also dehydrate you, right? So anyways, we want to stay hydrated, and aside from all this contaminated water these days, unfortunately, you know, with all these different things in the water, or BPA and the plasticizers in the bottles that you're drinking, you know, I just like the fresh juices, right? Fresh juices are a lot different than just drinking regular water. Number one, water was used to grow the plants. That's totally true, right? But what happens is when the water is absorbed by the roots in the root zone and is taken up by the cell structure in the plants, it converts that water now. So now it's known as a living water, or a more structured water, number one. And in addition, the minerals in the water from the plants are more absorbable for us. Whereas if you drink mineral water, even if it has high TDS or total dissolved solids, you know, could have a lot of minerals in there, which could be good or bad minerals. You're not going to get the same level of absorption of those minerals because they're not chelated and changing the charge of them like the plant do. So for that reason, you know, juices as well as things like coconut water are my favorite waters on earth. And something like this is a really mild water, just cucumbers and celery juiced. Super simple, super easy. That's what I'd recommend for you instead of drinking water, or of course coconut water, another one of my favorites that does not have to be juiced. Reason number 4 why I believe juicing and juicers are an essential part of a raw foods diet is because besides just juicing, if you get the right one, you guys could do a lot more than juicing. So for example, right, instead of eating ice cream, which is really not so healthy for us, made with dairy products and has all these different additives and artificial sugars, which I don't recommend, you could take whole frozen bananas through any one of the machines here that I have, which are perfect for people into raw foods, and you could turn them into banana sorbet. You could also make nut butters with all the machines here, as well as make things like salsas, grind up different foods, change the food textures, and as well as you know, process things like sauerkraut. You could put raw cabbage through the NC800 here. It'll grind it all up, and then you could basically just ferment it into your own sauerkraut. So the juicers have a much more wider application depending on the one you purchase, and that could be quite beneficial. So the juicers that I would recommend for you guys, if you guys are into raw foods, are one of the 3 here. You know, it's not the one I use because I don't use them for a lot of the multifunction features myself, and I do have these when I do want to do the multifunction features. But if you just want to get one machine to do it all, basically over on this side we got the Slowstar Juicer. This is the model SW2020. This is really good at juicing fruits, hard vegetables, as well as leafy greens, pretty much all around. It's just an all-around pretty good performer. It'll also do the homogenizing function with the special mincing attachment it has included. So that's if you want to juice like pretty much a little bit of everything. Now if you're somebody that really wants to focus on the greens and the vegetables, but especially the greens, including wheatgrass and sprouts and microgreens, and juice those guys, then you're going to want to go with this guy in the middle here. This is the Omega NC800, and it's the best at juicing things like leafy greens, sprouts, and wheatgrass. It'll also juice hard vegetables fairly well, and it'll juice fruits along with your vegetables, but this is not the best juicer if you want to juice straight fruits in it. This also does the homogenizing function as well. And then over on this side, this is like if you're really serious into it, right? This is the Green Star Pro model, and this one has all stainless steel gears, which I like. This model is really good for if you want to juice mainly the hard vegetables and other vegetables. It's going to get a yield like no other. It's going to blow away the yields on both these machines on the hard vegetables and other vegetables. It'll also juice leafy greens really well when juiced with the hard vegetables. Depending on the fruit you're juicing, much like this one, you know, you could juice fruits with your vegetables, but juicing fruits alone, you know, it can be quite temperamental and may not work properly, but it depends on the specific fruit. You know, some fruits like pineapple, just forget about it unless you're going to be juicing with carrot, but other fruits like, you know, tangerines, you know, with a lot of the pith on, might work fairly well. But basically this one is here if you want to get the highest yield, highest nutritional quality, you're going to focus on and around the vegetables. And as I said, they all do that sorbet and nut butter function. The fifth reason why I believe juicing is essential is because it allows you to take juices on the go. You know, I mean, I've made this juice. I can literally grab this juice, and in this juice here, which is 16 ounces, there's probably, depending on what I juice specifically in here, about 3 it's good, pounds of produce in there, including all those beets that I talked to you guys about earlier. So it really allows you to concentrate the amount of specifically vegetables you're eating and then take them on the go easily. Like if you have a job, if you work out of the house, right, you could basically just keep your juices. I like to, do 2 techniques to preserve them. Fill them up to the brim, cap them off so there's no extra air space or head space in there. This is going to prevent the oxidative damage. Also, keep it cold. All the juices I make are stored in my fridge that are at the lowest temperature. So it's not quite at 32, which is freezing. It's probably right at like 34 degrees. I like to keep that fridge at 34 degrees to keep the juices as cold as possible. And in addition, sometimes I'll actually vacuum seal my juices, like you saw one of the plastic caps had a vacuum seal cap on my mason jar to suck out the extra oxygen to prevent oxidation, which is even the best way to store your juices, especially if you're not going to juice them or drink them within a day or two. So yeah, I like it that it's an easy, on the run, on the go food that you could take with you, except if you're traveling on an airplane, and really have a concentrated volume of fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. So that's pretty much it for this episode. I really want to encourage you guys to, get a juicer and start juicing today if you're not already. And I'm not just saying that because I sell juicers, and that is my disclaimer. I do sell juicers for a living, and if you do need a juicer, I would encourage you to support me, my work, by making your purchase at discountjuicers.com. I'll also put a link down below to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/rawfoods, where I have over 500 episodes comparing and contrasting all the different juicers to one another so that you guys could select the right juicer for you. Because even though I use it and I like it every day, it doesn't mean you're going to like it or you're going to use it each and every day, because we all have specific and individual needs that we want to do with our machines. So I try to make the videos to kind of show the truth about all the different machines and dispel the myths and just like juice even amounts of produce in each one so you guys could determine the right one for you. But I've had so many testimonials over the years of me selling juicers, of selling a juicer to somebody 6 months later says, John, I lost like 60 pounds because I've been juicing every month and I've started dietary changes. And especially if you're not into a raw foods diet, juicing is the fastest and easiest way to get more vegetables in you. And when you get more fruits and vegetables in you, guess what? You're going to be displacing and you're going to stop eating some of the other foods that you may have been eating that are not as healthy. And let me tell you, there's not many foods I can think of that are healthier than fruits and vegetables. And even if you got to remove some of the fiber, which I know some people into raw foods may totally object with, John, juicing is totally unnatural. Well, what about if you had a sugar cane, right? You had sugar cane there in front of you, and you took the sugar cane and you started chewing on it. Are you going to swallow all the fibers? You're going to chew out the juice and then spit out the fibers. So, I mean, we are juicers. And, I don't want to get into an argument of juicing's not natural and all this kind of stuff. Look at the world around us, right? We're not living in caves. We don't have spears to hunt animals, Our planet is totally so unnatural with Wi-Fi, cell phones, and all these things. And okay, I would admit maybe if we lived 200 years ago before all these modern inventions and before we even invented juicers, maybe we wouldn't need it. But in this day and age, with the declining quality of the nutrients in the foods, I think being able to get more and higher quantities of these nutrients can be quite beneficial to us. And I would encourage you guys to get into it and to try it. Because, much like most people I sell the juicers to, when their juicer breaks, they write me, John, my juicer broke. What do? I need my juice fixed. Because you actually miss it once you get used to it. So some people actually even buy a second juicer to have a backup juicer. I mean, I always have a backup juicer, but generally the juicers that we sell at Discount Juicers are fairly durable, and they have nice long warranties. I mean, this guy here has a 10-year warranty. This is a 15-year warranty. This is a 15-year warranty. So, I mean, literally a juicer is a one-time investment. Once you get a good one the first time, you pretty much won't have to buy another one. And you will start to see results in your health. Maybe you're going to, it'll lift some of your brain fog. Maybe you're going to stay better hydrated. You're going to have better health. Maybe you're going to have more phytonutrients in you, especially things like from the kale and cruciferous family. If you're going to juice some onions, a little bit of garlic sometimes. These are anti-cancer foods, along with carrots and apples, which are the mainstay of the Gerson therapy program. Carrots and apples are even anti-cancer. So, you know, when we process these our own foods at home, we're going to get higher quality of the different nutrients in the juices because it hasn't been pasteurized, the enzymes haven't been degraded, and it's going to have the maximum amounts of the different phytochemicals and phytonutrients, as well as be a structured water. I don't know any other you know, food on earth aside from juice that I would want to drink. Just so delicious. It's one of my favorite go-to foods on a plant-based, fruit and vegetable dominated raw food diet. If you are introducing juices to you and you're not used to doing them, you know, the best time, in my opinion, to drink juices are in the morning when you wake up. You know, in the morning when I wake up, I like to drink water, coconut water, or my celery cucumber juice, and then go along with my day until I get hungry, which is about till noon, maybe sometimes in the afternoon. That's when I have my first meal. So I do intermittent fasting, and juicing can be an integral part of that to try to help, you know, keep your digestive system working a lot easier, especially in the morning. And most people hit their digestive system hard with Egg McMuffins, eggs and bacon, and cereal and coffee and toast and all these things that are really difficult. But juice is one of the easiest things on the planet to digest. And so it'll treat your system nicer and also flood your body with easily digestible and easily absorbed phytonutrients, phytochemicals, vitamins, and minerals, enzymes, which in my opinion are essential for health. So anyways, I think that's pretty much the end of this episode. Once again, check my links down below to my Discount Juicers website, also my Discount Juicers juicer comparisons. Leave any questions or comments about juicing you may have below. I'll try to answer them if I have some time. And if you enjoyed this episode, enjoyed this format, hey, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. Also be sure to share this video with somebody else that is considering buying a juicer so they could learn some of the essential tips on why juicing is so important in this modern age where we have all these unnatural things going on. Also be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on any of my new and upcoming episodes I'm coming out about every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'll show up or what you'll be learning on my YouTube channel. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge, over 450 videos on this channel at this time dedicated to teach you guys all aspects on how to eat a fruit and vegetable dominated diet so you guys can get healthy. So with that, my name is John Kohler with okraw.com. We'll see you next time, and until then, remember, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables and juicing them. They're always the best.